I like these things. I'm Chloe Wilder, and yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm from Florida, but I'm here in Phoenix right now.
I love that. And just to start off easy, what's a fun fact about yourself that your fans might not know about you?
Oh, well, it's funny because I feel like the real ones know my age, but most people who just become, listeners pretty quickly don't realize that I'm 18. So that would usually be what I'd lead with.
They're very nice. That's why I was doing some research too on you before, and then I saw that you started in the industry at like 14. That's insane.
It's funny. A lot of my Google searches kind of started I don't know, I feel like things stopped around then too. It's interesting. So people will look it up and be like, "Are you still 14?" I've had people ask me that at shows and be like, "Are you 14?" Some people think I'm 30 and some think I'm 14. So I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, I started pretty young. So there's a lot of documentation of that kind of haunts me a little bit, but also makes me a little proud of myself. So
that's probably funny to look back, especially with your younger self starting so young, because we have all done it with the stuff where we put on the internet and then your parents are like, "Oh, don't put that on the internet. It's gonna leave." Yeah. Yep, and then now you probably get it extra now that you have eyes on you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's there's nothing ever incriminating, but it's just funny to see yourself as a 13-year-old person trying to have a music career. That's no matter what, that's just gonna be so incredibly cringy. No matter who you are or how cool you end up being. And yeah, so I've just kind of accepted that part of myself, and that was the journey.
Amazing. So do you have any specific artists or genre of artists that influence your music?
Mm-hmm. I feel like the reason I started writing was definitely Lana Del Rey. That was my big one. And my sister's 11 years older than me, so I grew up listening to just all the music that she listened to, and it was a lot of Lana. And I literally just got this tattoo actually that she wrote. So I'm in major fangirl territory. But yeah, thank you. She's my favorite, and that's really because I started listening to her when I was 7. So I was just an alarmingly young age for all that, and I think it really shaped me. And other than that, I grew up on a lot of 80s alternative. My mom really played a lot of that, a lot of Depeche Mode and the Smiths and Cure and all that. And and even now though, I've kind of pulled more from the Americana side, and so I feel like I also grew up on a lot of Johnny Cash and a lot of fun folk stuff. And so that's a big part of it too. They're kind of all blending together at this point.
It's cool that you said Lana, because that's what I was listening to some of your stuff before this. They sent me your new, is it an EP or album? That's why I thought it was an EP, but they sent the Life's a Bitch one. Nice. They sent me over, so I got to take a listen to that, and I was I love it, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, I can definitely see the relations between Lana and your music with that, so I love that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Cool. Can you walk us through any of your typical creative process, like songwriting, any of that?
Yeah, I don't have much of a process these days anymore. I used to really rely on one, but now I'm kind of just open to the fact that it can kind of hit me at any time, and I enjoy that now. So yeah, it depends on the day. My first instrument is piano. I'll sit down at the piano a lot and just kind of start messing around and seeing what happens. And then, but I write a lot. I write mostly on the guitar these days. I'll take my guitar in my backyard and just, again, see what happens. Or sometimes there's a melody, or more often than not, I'll write 4 or 5 lines that just are really sticking with me and that I feel like I need to use. There's a song on the EP called So 17, and that's kind of how that one came about, just writing down I was just so 17 a bunch in my notes and being like, well, I can't get rid of this. And then I was driving home from LAX when I first kind of moved to LA officially, and I wrote in my phone, I'm a heavyweight champion, because I was just feeling kind of sad and depressed and down about myself and my move. And then I wrote that, and I kind of felt better. So yeah, it's interesting how that works. So it depends honestly on the day, because there's a lot of things I can kind of pull from, or if something just happened to me that I really have to talk about, that's also helpful. That's ideal.
That's cool. That's what I just listened to the heavyweight champion one, and I absolutely love that one too. That was very powerful too.
It's a funny thing. I'm not usually that I guess empowering in music or encouraging of myself. It's usually more like a little self-deprecating, and also just overall pretty sad and introspective. And I felt like that one was kind of screw everything else and I'm perfect.
I love it. That's what I absolutely love that. So being a young artist, is there any pressures or challenges that come along with that?
I think so. I'm pretty lucky so far, because I've just been surrounded by really, really good people who have stuck around, a really good little core group. That's who I'm basically on tour with right now, and so I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, I think there's always just the worry of how people talk to you, which obviously so many people know about that in any, you know, field of work. But I think just for me being a young girl in LA, basically, because I started going to LA when I was 13, and I was pretty, you know, I've always been really sure of myself, and I think that that's really, you have to have like, you know, kind of an odd amount of confidence, obviously, to do something like this. And so I always had that on the music end, not really in anything else, but on the music end. And so I think people in the industry, you know, just like gross like dudes in the industry would kind of expect a different personality, I think, from a really young girl who's just like trying to, you know, be a star or whatever. And I think I usually didn't give that off, and which I, you know, I like that about myself. And not that, you know, if you do give that off, that also is no reason to be taken advantage of in the industry, because that happens to so many people, and I've gotten some really, really whack contracts. And if I didn't have, you know, my mom's been with me this whole time, and I think if I didn't have somebody in my corner like that, I probably would have signed things. So it's just, I think that's really the challenge, is just kind of being aware that people have a sort of idea about you beforehand, and that was something I hadn't experienced before music. So that's really it.
I love that for you. I love that you're able to like have set that boundary and stuff, because a lot of people, especially coming into it, and especially women coming into it, and especially young girls, they always get taken advantage of. Especially it's like you want to be a star, like
well, and if you don't have anybody that cares about you in that way, where it's like, I mean, nobody's really going to consider your well-being, because everybody's thinking about what they can get from you for themselves. And so I just which that's just the way it is business-wise, I guess, but I just had a lot of people who really made sure I was well.
I'm glad that you have those people in your corner to help support you.
Me too.
Are there any fan interactions that have ever stood out to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's hard to choose a single one, because I have just gotten to connect with so many really cool people. We just toured in Europe too, and I mean, I'm just like blown away by the amount of beautiful people I met. And yeah, I mean, anytime there's a moment where I'm, you know, sitting at the piano and then I see someone crying, you know, that's pretty mind-blowing. I've had, you know, like women come up to me after shows that talk to me about going through a divorce and how a song like kind of connected with them in that way, and I'm like, I literally, you know, wrote that about my like when I was 16 about my best friend or whatever. And it's kind of interesting how that works, and so I always like that a lot. And yeah, just getting to talk to such like a wide range of people. But yeah, and then they give, you know, people give me cute little bracelets and stuff. It's really special. And especially, you know, I haven't done my own headline thing yet, and just kind of seeing that it's already connecting and it's already working really means the world. So I feel like every fan interaction is like the best fan interaction for me.
And this is your first night of the U.S. tour, right?
Yeah,
is there anything that you're looking forward to on this tour?
I have a drummer on this tour, and so I'm really excited for everybody to hear that set, because it's a little different, and I'm playing most of the new EP too, so that's really fun. But yeah, just like the full band experience, I think, is really cool, and it's fun for me. It like gives me something to kind of pull from energy-wise, and I really like my dress, so that's exciting.
I love that. Is there a song from Life's a Bitch that you're most excited for people to listen to or hear?
I wrote this song called Fear of the Fall, and it was one of those ones where this thing just sort of happened, and I kind of like immediately had to talk about it, and I like that feeling where it kind of just like falls into your lap a little bit. And I play it in the set, and it's really fun. It just like it's kind of like a slow burn, and it really builds at the end, and I just was so angry, and I had so much to say, and it's I kind of wrote it about someone that I met on a tour, and it's cool to now play it on a tour that I'm like so happy on, and just surrounded by so many good people, and yeah, so I like doing that on a stage. It feels really full circle.
Is there one piece of of advice, sorry, I can't speak. Is there one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
I guess just patience, really, because I think it's really easy to have really high expectations going into something like this, especially, you know, being that young and kind of seeing a lot of other young people succeeding at it. You know, I feel like the age of success just keeps dropping in the industry, and so I'm kind of aware of that. But yeah, also I'd say just like taking the time to understand myself as an artist could have been, it's like I really have no regrets about the whole thing, because it all just adds up, but it's like I think that would have been helpful to me, just like mentally, you know, not rushing anything, not rushing putting music into the world that you are always going to have to look at and be reminded of. So yeah, but I think I think that would really be it, and just knowing to always kind of put myself first in that way, because there were moments where it was complicated and I was really isolated, and I think I was really hard on myself, but now I'm just so not in that headspace anymore that I'm kind of like, just do your best, girl.
I love that. Just do your best.
Yeah.
We could all use that.
Exactly.
We could all use to tell ourselves that a little bit. What is coming next for you? Is this just the EP coming out? Is there new tours? Is there new shows? What else is coming?
Much. So the EP comes out on March 21st, and then I'm really hoping to tour more this year. I'd love to start doing some headline shows of my own. That would be a total dream. I'm opening for my friend Spencer right now, and it's like so amazing to just be a part of that whole world too. So I will do whatever comes my way. But I would love to get some headline ones on the schedule, and I'm just gonna be writing a ton more. I have a couple singles that I'm already planning to put out after the EP because I just can't sit still. But I would really love to do some more summertime touring. That would be ideal.
Yeah, summertime is the best. That's why the music scene is popping in the summer.
That's what.
Yeah,
I've never done the festival scene, so I'm kind of interested in all that.
Yeah.
And honestly, and I really want to go back to Europe. And I just, there's so much I want to do.
That's awesome. That's why I just got back from the Innings Fest yesterday.
Oh, cool.
That's why it was super awesome. But that's what a really cool thing to be on festivals too.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So, and then I saw that you only took 10 days after moving to write this new EP. Is that right?
Kind of. It's I wrote most of the EP in 10 days. So 17, I think, was the only. So 17 and Cigarette I had written previously. And then, a couple months before. And then, I wrote Life's a Bitch, Heavyweight Champion, Fear of the Fall, and Tallahassee, I think, in those 10 days. If that's right. I think that's right, because it was my first time kind of going to LA by myself. I was going back and forth a lot, but I always had my mom with me and my sister's there, and all this stuff. And so it just felt really pivotal, and I didn't handle it as well as I would have expected myself to, but I got those out of it. So that felt really good, and it kind of made me realize that I can do that and I can be by myself there, and then I'm also not totally by myself. So and that's kind of where I feel the cheeky title that is Life's a Bitch came from, because I'm obviously I'm kind of getting to go there and live my dream, but I still found a reason to be stressed about it. So that's the story.
And finally, if there was one intake or one thing that your fans could take from your music, what would you want that to be?
I don't know. I feel playing all these shows, I just really want people to take whatever they want from it, and I feel everybody kind of has a different story and connection, or why they need music, or and I just that's why I've always liked it, and I get different things from different artists, and so I don't know, I just hope it's kind of there for them. I try and be pretty honest with my perspective right now. I'm pretty comfortable with the fact that I can only offer my 18-year-old perspective, and so I just but it's really cool because that can that can go to anyone. So I think, literally just whatever they want. I wish I could be more profound about it, but that just feels so good to me. Also, I kind of like knowing that, when I get off stage, I don't really know what they took from it, but I know that they liked it. So that's always nice. And then just hearing from people afterwards, and and also just it's interesting which songs work, because I just put out the song called Tallahassee that's on the EP, and I was playing that in Europe, and it's just crazy. I was singing this song about when I used to go party at Florida State in Tallahassee, basically, and then I'm singing it to a bunch of girls in Germany, and they all love it, and we connected over and we talked about it, and so that's really cool how it can be that universal. So I've kind of just learned to be whatever you guys want.
Yeah, it's really cool how music really connects everyone, even if they don't even speak the language.
Exactly.
They're still singing your song back to you. So that's a really cool opportunity.
It's really magical. So I'm just kind of loving all that.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for being here with us and taking the time with me today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was
Of course.
really nice to meet you. Yeah, thank you. And I love this cute little guy.
Thank you.